Raila stands the best chance to win the 2022 August general election. And there have been an argument that he needed to start with the 6 million strong, the traditional base, before looking at what the Central Kenya basket is going to give him. And for that to be successful, he needed to maintain the coast, which I believe he has tried. He needed to make sure that Western Kenya is behind him, and more importantly, go to Ukambani and bring Kalonzo Musyoka on board. Yesterday, Kalonzo Musyoka formally joined Azimio la Umoja. But then, I want to, before we listen to his speech, I want to understand that that move seems to have thrown things into spanner. Looking at some of the proposals, or looking at the proposal that Kalonzo Musyoka brought on board, I want to say here that everything is set. Raila Odinga has a very good campaign machinery. The arithmetic matrix is working in his favor, but there is only one thing that is standing tall. That is the party primaries, or rather that is the nominations. This is the nominations because we are in a very different political dynamics compared to both 2013 and 2017. 2013, Raila vied with CORD, which had Moses Wetangula's party, Wiper, and ODM. In 2017, he had Wiper, Ford Kenya, ODM, and ANC. So if you look at that, it was very easy to manage. But then in 2022, Azimio la Umoja is going to be a bigger house that is going to include all these small parties, and more importantly, they have been allowed to maintain their identity and to maintain their positions in terms of them seeking elective positions. So things are turning out there to be very, very, very hot in terms of nominations. Now, before we look at the Kalonzo's proposal, let me give you behind the scene intrigues before OKA made that announcement. You will realize that Martha Karua was conspicuously missing in that meeting, in that press conference. And then, in fact, first I want you to listen to that press conference here.
Therefore, this is a press statement by the One Kenya Alliance, OKA. Members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, the One Kenya Alliance wishes to inform Kenyans that it has officially initiated open and structured dialogue with like-minded political formations, namely the Jubilee Coalition and the ODM Party. We are open to the formation of a grand coalition to be known as Azimio One Kenya Alliance. That shall be anchored on 3 equal pillars. As OKA, we firmly believe in open, honest, and structured dialogue whose basis is the promotion of national unity, upholding and respecting the dignity of all Kenyans, ending the culture of corruption and impunity, and restoring the decency of living within our borders. As announced in our earlier communication, OKA principals will on Monday, the 28th February 2022, officially sign the coalition agreement as an affirmation of our commitment to seeing a just, inclusive, and prosperous nation. Thereafter, we shall deposit the coalition agreement with the registrar of political parties.
Now, you would realize that Martha Karua was missing in action. This is one, that meeting was called very urgent. You know, Kalonzo Musyoka have been putting the hold on, wait, it is still going on, we are going to do it, we are going to start talking. But then I think KANU leader Gideon and Jirongo was so determined on the deal to join Azimio la Umoja. In fact, if you ask me, the person who has pushed this deal to the wall is Cyrus Jirongo. So yesterday they held if you see the time they did the press was around 5:30, and they met as from 3. So they only met for like 3 hours. Then that agreement was reached. So, and then when they tried to reach out to Martha Karua was not around town. That was one. 2, yesterday, Kalonzo Musyoka has been saying that they want to get to Azimio through Jubilee. So if you followed the Jubilee National Governing Council conference yesterday, you realize that they formed some pre-election agreements with some small parties. One was the party that belongs to Amason Kingi from the coast, the UPIA party that belongs to Kuria Tani, United Progressive Party, I think that one is for Matiangi. They also signed another pre-election pact with KUP, Kenya United Party. That one belongs to Lonyangapuo from West Pokot. So after that alliance, after that pre-election agreement, because these parties joined Jubilee coalition. Jubilee is a party coalition. So the Jubilee coalition was actually joined by these parties. So by that time, they were actually expecting that the OKA team already done, so that they could actually join with the other small parties in Jubilee Party, because that's what Kalonzo Musyoka was insisting on. So Jubilee Party had really piled pressure on Kalonzo Musyoka and the team to give their position. And my mole was telling me from inside that Cyrus Jirongo was determined and was telling these fellas that if the OKA is not going to have an agreement, then he's going to sign the pre-election pact with Jubilee as the UDP. That was on board. But then there is another question to it. Is it true, or is there a possibility that Martha Karua is not comfortable working with President Uhuru Kenyatta? Because she's been sending mixed signals. She's been saying Uhuru should not play an active role in politics. She's been saying Uhuru wants to extend her term, and whatever her statements latest have been in coherence with what William Ruto is saying. So people are feeling like she's sending some mixed signals. But that is just a question I wanted to ask yourself. Do you think that something is brewing there? Now, but she sent a representative in that meeting. Now, guys, let's face it. Jubilee is a party coalition. One Kenya Alliance is also a coalition of Wiper, UDP, and KANU and the NAC. Then Azimio la Umoja is a coalition party. Azimio la Umoja was registered by Junet Mohammed. I think the name was reserved by Junet Mohammed last year in November, before Raila Odinga flew to, I think it was in October, before Raila Odinga flew to Dubai for treatment, if you remember that. So, no, it was after Raila Odinga announced that he was going to make his presidential bid official on 10th December last year. So before that moment, that's when the Azimio la Umoja coalition party was actually registered. The name was reserved. So there are things I want us to lay it bare so that people understand. One, Jubilee Party is a coalition. One Kenya Alliance is a coalition. Then there is the ODM party. So the ODM party have sprouted, and on top of all this, there is an Azimio la Umoja coalition. Jubilee Party is going to join, and OKA is going to join. Now, this is the catch. Kalonzo Musyoka is saying that his condition to join Azimio is not that OKA is going to be absorbed, but that it's going to maintain its identity. So the coalition name will change from Azimio la Umoja to Azimio OKA. That's it. Guys, what do you think? That is it. Of my understanding here is this. I think Raila Odinga needed Kalonzo Musyoka. Whether he's coming at OKA, he's coming as Wiper, or he's coming as who, Raila Odinga needed Kalonzo Musyoka. Not even those other fellas. Needed Kalonzo Musyoka. And that is going to happen. And of course, with that, I think is just enough. The other things are just theatrics. But now let's look at what do you think are some of the repercussions of this? what are the advantages and disadvantages of the Azimio OKA coalition instead of just everyone joining Azimio, even if they maintain their identity as Jubilee Coalition, ODM, but everyone joining Azimio la Umoja. Let's look at it. What do you think? Should we just have an Azimio la Umoja, every party to join, or kila mtu aleta yake, but we have Azimio One Kenya Alliance? But let me tell you why Kalonzo is pushing this. And personally, my issue number one, the demerit number one is it's going to bring what is called sibling rivalry. The sibling rivalry is going to play, especially when people go to nominations. If you don't have one party there, you have One Kenya and Azimio as One Kenya, there is a possibility that when it reaches some areas, for example, in Kitui, let's go to Kitui, Charity Ngilu wants the governor's seat there and is going to sit through Azimio or NAC. Then One Kenya Alliance, Wiper, also have someone the name of Kilemi Mwiria. Not Kilemi Mwiria, Kiema Kalonzo, the former Kenyan ambassador to Uganda. So if these people are not in one party, then they're going to face off there. In any case that UDA have a strong candidate, atapita katikati, and that's how they are going to lose it. And so that sibling rivalry is going to play out, especially on the other elective seats. Then that is not going to be very conducive for the well-being of the coalition. Number two, Kalonzo wants to subdue the Ukambani governors. I think one thing he has realized that, and of course, Ukambani governors were already telling him that you come, but to know that we're already here. So one thing, the reason why he wants the One Kenya to have with the Azimio at the same level, he doesn't want the One Kenya to be at the same level with the NAC party, Maendeleo Chap Chap, and I think Fungamano or something, Patia Kivutha Kibwana. He doesn't want them to enjoy to be at the same level. That is why he's actually pushing for that. So for me, one thing that is motivating this move is just Ukambani politics coming into play. And I don't know why this is becoming a worry, because I think they should just sort the issues out. When it comes to Azimio, let it be the national politics. But Kalonzo seems to be dragging the Ukambani politics into this table, and that is why he's actually pushing for this. As to whether this is going to be beneficial to him, I don't know. But I think that this is not really what is going to help the Azimio la Umoja coalition to be a strong coalition. There is something that is very clear here. Kalonzo has been in this coalition talks for long, 2013, 2017. So there are things he understands that no one else understands. And that is why he's pushing for this. So one thing he actually knows, that if you have Azimio One Kenya Alliance, then the running mate will come from One Kenya Alliance. Where did this put Jubilee? That is the question. So simply, he's pushing for the position of running mate to go to One Kenya Alliance. In the event that he goes to One Kenya Alliance, he might stand the chance to get that running mate. Actually, if you listen to that speech, he said that One Kenya Alliance is going to produce their own presidential candidate. Then it kept me wondering if he's going through Jubilee Party. He said that One Kenya Alliance will go to Azimio through Jubilee Party. I think Jubilee just wants to stand as a guarantor. So if he was going through there, the Jubilee Party leader, Uhuru Kenyatta, have already endorsed Raila Odinga for presidency. So on which ground is he now going to? So that tells you that he's actually trying to push for the position of running mate. And I don't know, if the coalition is formed and the matrix come out clearly that it demystifies the need for Raila to get a running mate from Central Kenya, then let it be. Or they can still give it to One Kenya Alliance, but to make sure that things work out, they can give Martha Karua. But of the way things are moving, I don't think Martha Karua is going to be Raila Odinga's running mate. With One Kenya Alliance, Kalonzo Musyoka is actually eyeing that position. Now that is number two. That's number three. Number four, Kalonzo is pushing for equity in terms of principles. And this is going to help in power sharing. He's trying to look at power sharing. If we are like with the other small parties, so what do we stand to gain? So that is why he's pushing for Azimio to equal One Kenya Alliance. The question is, if we have Azimio One Kenya Alliance, then Jubilee is in Azimio, ODM is in Azimio, honestly, even if it is because the coalition agreement is saying, the coalition political parties bid is saying that the dominant party in that coalition shall even dominate in terms of colors. So the question here is this: if Azimio has ODM and has Jubilee and the other parties, how do you bring the One Kenya Alliance now to share the name? Because the One Kenya Alliance has 3 parties, 4, with the only big party there is Wiper. Kanu is still doesn't have really numbers, and NAC doesn't have the numbers. But I think it is just a matter of also increasing his stakes to make sure that he gets it. And I don't know whether it's going to work, guys. I don't know what you think. I don't know that this is going to work. My only worry is this: Jubilee have already signed the pre-election pacts with the small parties. Now, where does this put DAPK? Because DAPK is joining. So if DAPK joins also as a party, will they also start demanding, let's do Azimio, One Kenya? Where we are heading is the most critical situation. Because if it is a very precarious, if it is not handled well, we are going to have a coalition. The coalition is just going to be there as the name of the coalition, but there is nothing tangible that they will actually bring on table. But guys, I think all in all, the presence of Kalonzo seals Raila's fate. And as some other people say, the fate has conspired to give Raila the presidency.